Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Moose the Gimp. I am your host, Moose the Gimp. Now, I just want everybody to know, just be really quiet. I got a word I want to repeat. It's the F word. It's the F word. You know what the F word is, right? You know what your mom and dad, when you were kids, they told you, don't say the F word. That's the worst word of them all. It was even in the movie Christmas Story. The F word. They said fudge. But you know what the F word was, right? Well, I'm talking about a different F word. I'm talking about an F word that patients like me with chronic pain know exactly what it is. It's not the F word that you're thinking about. Oh, no. The F word is fentanyl. Ooh. Whoa. 2019, October 2019, just about. The whole media world has been embroiled in this crazy controversy, this epidemic. They're calling it an epidemic, like it's the Ebola virus that we only need to be scared of. It's the F word. It's the narcotic overdose fentanyl epidemic. Whoa. Yeah. Give me a break. Give me a break, man. It's not an epidemic. Give me a break. Fentanyl. For chronic pain patients, this isn't an epidemic. This is a crisis. And I'll tell you why. I've been on this stuff. Fentanyl. It's right here. I got it right here. It's a prescription. It's a prescription for fentanyl. I've been on it for probably 5 years. And when I moved to where I am now, I was already on it. And the doctor that I saw, a pain management doctor, continued me on it. This is a long-acting, this is 75 micrograms. I was as high as 100 micrograms at one point, which is a lot. That's a lot, man. That's like, they say, I don't know, they say like, 1,000 milligrams of morphine is 100,000 milligrams of fentanyl, something like that. That's great. Don't quote me on that. I'm just like, it's out of proportion. Fentanyl is way more potent than morphine. It's like heroin. But this is a patch. This is a patch. See how flat it is? It comes in it's a sticker. You put it on your arm or your belly, and it disperses the medicine over a 3-day period. It's not a big deal. You don't get high on it. You don't feel any euphoria. It just slowly doses you medicine over the course of 3 days, and it controls your pain. In addition to that, you have something called, as many of you already know, a breakthrough pain meds, which is like a daily pill you take several times a day, maybe every 4 to 6 hours. Oxycodone is typical, or tramadol can be one of them, and you take that to give you little breakthrough pains, right? If you're really acutely painful, at some point you take a pill, and then underneath it is this guy controlling your pain. And it's pretty simple. If you take it according to the doctor's recommendations, it works. Surprise! It works. But what the media has not understood is that this is not the problem. This patch and people like me are not the problem. People like me are not dying because of this. Who are dying are people who have abused drugs. They are drug addicts. And I don't mean to be like unsympathetic here, okay? Because I'm a very sympathetic guy. I get it. But if it wasn't, see, they're getting fentanyl through illicit means. They're buying stuff on the street, and drug dealers, I don't know how this works, but drug dealers are enhancing regular pills like Vicodin or oxycodone or whatever. They're enhancing it with this super highly concentrated fentanyl that they've bought from China. 60 Minutes just did an episode on that. You can get it from China on the internet for nothing, basically. And they're enhancing their drugs with it. I would only imagine with the intent to get the person high so they're hooked on it and they keep coming back to buy it from them. But what's happening is these obviously they're not scientists and pharmacists. They are overdosing whatever they have, and they're giving highly super concentrated doses of fentanyl. And a lot of these people who have taken it, they basically die before they even feel a high. There was 60 Minutes was just on a week ago, and the father of one of these victims of this fentanyl overdose basically said the police found him with the needle in his arm, and the drug almost hadn't even been injected into his body before he died. So basically the kid or the young person who put this needle of medicine with fentanyl, highly concentrated fentanyl in it, put it in his arm, and he died basically before he, just a split second after he put the needle in his arm. That's how bad it is. That's not what this is. So these people are addicts. They are not chronic pain patients like you and I. These are people who, if they didn't have the drug, they would be going after heroin, they'd be going after alcohol, they'd be going after whatever, meth, whatever it is, whatever fancy drug it is nowadays that you can take and get super high off of. That's what they would be taking. I don't have a lot of sympathy for that, okay? You're in it, you're an addict. You're an addict and you need help. But what your story is creating is a major, major problem for people like me. And I'll tell you why. Because I've taken this for several years already without a problem. But now that this narrative in the media that's been created, that there's an epidemic over fentanyl. The F word. Shh. Don't say it. What's happened is the insurance companies have flipped out because the media has put pressure on politicians. The politicians have put pressure on the insurance companies like Blue Cross, Humana, and Aetna. And then in turn, the insurance companies are putting pressure on the doctors. Individual doctors, not like a hypothetical medical industry, but they're calling individual doctors who are prescribing fentanyl to their patients and telling them to stop prescribing it, or else you're going to feel whatever consequences they can have on them. So what happens is, in turn, the doctors, they feel that heat, and I understand it. They put that pressure on me. They put the pressure on you. And that's wrong. Because once they put the pressure on you, then they will affect your health in a negative way. And it's a bunch of BS. And I'm getting tired of it. Now, I've been to my doctor for several years now. I came as a patient with fentanyl under his skin, and he prescribed it to me for a couple of years. But then when this epidemic started and this narrative started, I started to feel the heat. And they continually berated me, made me feel like a drug addict, made me feel like I was inadequate, made me feel like I was doing something wrong when they're prescribing this meds and I'm doing nothing wrong. I had a doctor even once call it a pharmacy while I'm in the room and question the pharmacy whether I was taking the medicine correctly with the right dosage. And I was made to feel like I was a drug addict when I'm just a patient with chronic pain. And you know what? Finally, I just said, you know what? I'm tired of it. And I just took it upon myself, to make a long story short, I just took it upon myself. I said, taper me off this fentanyl. I voluntarily tapered myself off this crap. Something that was helping me. But because of the pressures that were being put on me, I tapered myself off it so they could put me on something else that the insurance companies wouldn't bother them, and in turn they wouldn't bother me about. And that's what I'm on now. But I'm still taking short-term breakthrough meds. But the long story is, this is not the problem. And politicians like Harris and Schumer and all these, and even Trump, as much as I appreciate what he's done for this country, you are wrong with this stuff. I wrote Melania a couple of months ago, and she wrote me back. She didn't address the issue that I really wanted to talk about, which was this so-called epidemic. But she wrote me back, period, which I really appreciated. But all these politicians don't believe the hype. You're selling the public a bill of goods that's a bunch of BS. This helps people, and what you've done is you've created an enemy when this is not the enemy. The enemy is addiction. It's just like the gun stuff. The enemy isn't guns. The enemy is mental illness. The enemy in these shootings. The enemy of this is addiction. Has nothing to do with the medicine. Deal with addiction, and you'll deal with the problem. Don't bother the people who need the meds the most. I'm out. I'm out of time. I'm Moose the Gimp. You've been watching Moose the Gimp. Thanks for watching. If you like the show, hit subscribe. If you don't, tell me why, and I will try to post some stuff on the bottom. Here's the question of the day. I'm going to try to present a question of the day. Are you on a narcotic? Just say yes or no. Are you a chronic pain patient who's on a narcotic? Tell me yes or no. It doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. Just let me know if you are or you aren't. I'd like to know who's watching the show. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you doing that. And I will present more of these shows as best I can. I did get a new second referral for my neck surgery, and I will tell you all about that next time. And I will also tell you why I call myself Moose the Gimp. So for now, I am Moose the Gimp. You've been watching Moose the Gimp. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Yeah.